If you often feel tired but your life is actually not slowing down, then this is for you. This is the first episode of Planning in Real Life, where we explore how we can use planning to help us get on top of things in busy, hectic weeks instead of abandoning it altogether. I've been there, done that, many times. I'm Maria and this is my channel Planners in Practice, where we use creative planning as a tool for building a life that we're genuinely excited to wake up to. Welcome! When we have a busy lifestyle, the issue is rarely motivation or discipline. It's usually more about taking care of the basics. We try to optimize for productivity before we've actually stabilized those basics. So today I'm sharing what I found works best for building energy that actually holds up in real life. And I'm saying this as a full-time professional, a mom of 2 young kids who's also trying to build a side hustle.
So this video is all about getting the basics right first. Essentially, there are 3 categories that we need to get right to make sure we optimize for energy. Those are completely within our control, and they're very practical, simple ways that we can stack the odds in our favor. But before we get to that, let's discuss the benefits or the why these things are important in the first place. The first and most important, I would say, one is that all 3 are positively impacting our health. And being healthy is hands down the most important thing that we need to try and optimize for so that we can do anything really in our life. Second one is feeling rested and energized. We can set as many goals and tasks as we want, but if you don't have the energy to actually work on them, then setting them is not going to lead to any improvement in our life. Last but not least, it's the ability to stay focused. And if your work is mentally challenging and requires a lot of thinking and decision making, then this one is super important for you. One important clarification to mention here is that there are a lot of other factors that can impact those 3, but here we are talking about basics that are stacking the odds in our favor and making it more likely to get to those desired benefits. Okay, so first one out of the 3 is sleep. And as simple as it sounds, it's one of the most effective levers that we have to make sure that our energy levels remain high. The very tiny and mind-blowingly effective habit I found here is setting a bedtime alarm. That's right, bedtime alarm. Well, we already have one for waking up, right? But having this one ensures we actually allow ourselves to have the proper rest that we need. The important thing here is to treat it as a non-negotiable. So the second your phone goes off, then you drop whatever you're doing, you're not finishing anything, you're not waiting for another episode or whatever you might be doing at that time. You just go straight into your bedtime routine, which is the second tip here. Having something very specific that you start right away then leaves no room for doubt or decision making or anything like that. The second the alarm goes off, you just start and go straight to the first thing from your evening routine. And the last suggestion here is figuring out a simple 3-step routine. If there are too many things or they're too complicated, chances are you're not gonna follow through. And you can always add more on any given night. It's just those 3 are the basics, the non-negotiable ones that happen every single night. Moving on to the second area of our basics, it's, as you can imagine, food and water. While it does sound very obvious, it's very easy to be neglected. So the first tip here is preparing a water bottle or a cup that we'll be using throughout the day, as well as figuring out what is the water intake that is right for us on a daily basis. That way we can know how many times we need to refill the bottle or how many glasses of water we need to drink. The second one is deciding on one key meal the night before. It's much easier to make such decisions when we're not in the moment and not hungry so that we can be intentional about it. It also reduces the number of decisions that we need to make during the day, which is always a good thing. Last but not least, it's setting an alarm for meal planning and prep during the weekend. The goal is to have 15 to 20 minutes for meal planning. If you have the time, you can add meal prep together with the meal planning. Moving on to the third and final tip here, and that's movement. This is the last essential piece of the puzzle that we need to add to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a nice position to have sufficient energy levels throughout the day. First tip here is actually picking something that you really enjoy. And depending on how active you are, there are different things that you could choose from. If incorporating movement in your daily life is something completely new, then you can pick something as simple as walking. Another option could be dancing or follow along exercises on YouTube. Let's say there are numerous channels of certified trainers who offer step-by-step workouts. You can also sign up to some kind of a group training like yoga or Pilates, or there's so many different options out there. And probably the most popular one that we hear about is obviously going to the gym. You can do it by yourself or having a personal trainer if you're into having somebody who can keep you accountable and make sure that whatever you're doing is done actually properly. Next step would be to decide on a doable frequency and length of those sessions. If we get excited and motivated to start this new thing that we know is amazing for us, we might fall into the trap of going borderline professional athlete. So deciding that we're gonna go 5 days a week to the gym or something of that sort. The reality is, by the end of the second week, we would most probably have given up on that idea. So it's much better to keep it simple and realistic and start building up with even once a week or twice a week. And once that becomes very easy and even boring to do, then we can always upgrade and increase the frequency and intensity of our workouts. Now the last bit here is, I would say, critical, and that's to set alarms for your workouts. Having a look at your calendar and finding those slots that actually work and making an alarm. You can always put them on in the calendar as well, but having the alarm is the most effective thing because it prompts you to start doing the thing, especially if it's something that is self-paced and you're at home and you don't have to go to the gym, so plan before that. Having the alarm is the perfect nudge and a reminder to actually drop whatever you're doing and start your workout. So these are the 3 key areas that need attention if we want to optimize our energy levels: our sleep, food and water intake, and movement. The more we can think about building systems that will actually remind us and help us stay on track, the better. So the less we need to remember to do the thing, the better. Here I can share what my suggestions for those 3 are. The first one being preparing a water bottle or a glass of water and putting it on your nightstand. So as soon as the alarm goes, then you go fill up that bottle or water, whatever you're having. If you're moving around next day, maybe it's better to have a bottle. If you are staying at home, then a glass would be more than enough. It's simple and it doesn't take a lot of time, so chances are that way you'll reduce the friction to going into that nighttime routine. And once you've started, then it's easier to keep going. Second one would be the simple brushing your teeth, and then whatever else you're doing, maybe some kind of skincare routine if you're into that, right before you go to bed. After you're done with that, then heading to the bedroom and getting your planner and a book or Kindle with you. The goal here is to make a habit of spending 3 to 5 minutes with your planner every night, just reflecting on the day that has just passed. At that time, you can check whether you did the key thing for the day and reflect on any wins or challenges that you had during that day, as well as deciding on the key goal for tomorrow and just having a quick scan of what's coming so that you're prepared when you wake up. After spending not more than 5 minutes with your planner, then you can move on to your book or Kindle And here, something to mention is that having your phone charging in another room, I would say, is best. But if you need it in the room and you're using it for an alarm clock, or you just need it to be in the same room, then putting it as far away from you as possible so that you're not tempted to just reach out and grab it and scroll in bed and stay past midnight looking at whatever you find yourself drawn to. Reading right before bed can ease your mind and help you fall asleep, feeling calm and just naturally drifting as you're reading. Not to mention that over time, if you're reading something like self-help books or anything that is non-fiction, it does compound, and you find yourself not only winding down in a nice but also productive way.
So energy isn't about always doing more, but it's about consistently getting the basics right first, especially when life is full and messy. This isn't a perfect week setup, it's for busy weeks, the normal ones where motivation comes and goes. So don't try to do all 9 things at once, but rather pick one that resonates the most with you and see how that works. Experiment for the next 3 to 5 days and see what happens to your energy levels and how does the week feel overall. Let me know in the comments which one you pick and how is that working out for you. I'd love to hear more about your journey. I hope you found something useful here. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye. Bye, and for building a life that we are while also building a side hustle series where we're